The point I would like to make is that investments come and go. The market goes up and down. Economies approve and crash. The world is always handing you opportunities of a lifetime every day of your life, but all too often we fail to see them. But we also need to look further than we are currently able to see. So we might only be looking at our own city, not even our own state, not even our own country. Sometimes we need to look a little bit further than that even. Good morning, everybody. Just waiting for the computer to do one more thing, and then hopefully you're all having a great day. I'm looking forward to doing some reading for you. We have a Rich Dad, Poor Dad right there. We are in chapter 5. It is getting quite exciting. I'm surprised we've already gotten through so much so quickly, but let's get into it. I know that you have goals to achieve and would like to be able to start getting stuck into your work, whether it's before you actually go to work or whether it's on your business. Here we go. We are on page 193. Let's do this. It is this basic foundation or the combination of these skills that is needed to be successful in the pursuit of wealth, whether it be through the buying of small homes, apartment buildings, companies, stocks, bonds, precious metals, baseball cards, or the like. Because yes, there are multiple things that hold value, and some things are going to seem like they are valuable to you, such as perhaps real estate and stocks. And for some people, they might not like real estate or stocks, or they might be more into baseball cards, or they might be more into going, for example, to garage sales and buying things there and then on selling them. There is money to be made in lots of different ways. Just because there's a regulated market for stocks and real estate doesn't mean that going to garage sales is not a great way to also make money. There are people making money in the weirdest ways, to be very honest. A few years later, the real estate market rebounded and everybody else was getting in. The stock market was booming and everybody was getting in. The US economy was getting back on its feet. I began selling and was now traveling to Peru, Norway, Malaysia, and the Philippines. The investment landscape had changed. We were no longer buying real estate. Now I just watched the values climb inside the asset column and will probably begin selling. I suspect that some of those 6 little house deals will sell and the 40,000 note will be converted to cash. I need to call my accountant to be prepared for cash and seek ways to shelter it. The point I would like to make is that investments come and go. The market goes up and down. Economies approve and crash. The world is always handing you opportunities of a lifetime every day of your life, but all too often we fail to see them. But we also need to look further than we are currently able to see. So we might only be looking at our own city, not even our own state, not even our own country. Sometimes we need to look a little bit further than that even. But they are there. And the more the world changes and the more technology changes, the more opportunities there will be to allow you and your family to be financially secure for generations to come. I know that Robert Kiyosaki, for example, is quite interested in cryptocurrencies and is doing quite a lot of study and does things around that as well. So why bother developing your financial intelligence? Again, only you can answer that. I know why I continue to learn and develop. I do it because I know there are changes coming. I'd rather welcome change than cling to the past. I know there will be market booms and market crashes. I want to continually develop my financial intelligence because at each market change, some people will be on their knees begging for their jobs. Others, meanwhile, will take the lemons that life hands them, and we are all handed lemons occasionally, and turn them into millions. That's financial intelligence. So have a think about what you want to achieve in your life. Do you need money to be able to achieve it? Are you in a job that could potentially get lost with technological changes? There is a lot of talk about the fact that probably 80%, 70%, 80% of the jobs in the world could be done by robots in the near future. So we're going to have to look for other ways of being able to sustain ourselves, whether that be the government giving everybody a universal basic income, or whether the government doesn't do that and we have to find our own way. The main reason for our financial intelligence and being able to work on your financial intelligence is to be able to have those options, to be able to survive no matter what happens, to be able to have something behind you that's going to be able to get you through any challenge. And that is the reason why. I'm often asked about the lemons I have turned into millions. I hesitate using many more examples of personal investments because I'm afraid it comes across as bragging or tooting my own horn. That is not my intention. I use the examples only as numerical and chronological illustrations of actual and simple cases. I use the examples because I want to know that it is easy. And the more familiar you become with the 4 pillars of financial intelligence, the easier it becomes. Personally, I use 2 main vehicles to achieve financial growth: real estate and small cap stocks. I use real estate as my foundation. Day in and day out, my properties provide cash flow and occasional spurts of growth and value. The small cap stocks are used for fast growth. I do not recommend anything that I do. The examples are just that, examples. If the opportunity is too complex and I do not understand the investment, I don't do it. Simple math and common sense are all you need to do well financially. So it is really important that you understand that you need to find what works for you, what you feel comfortable with. The examples in the book might work for Robert Kiyosaki at that stage of his financial intelligence, at that stage of where he is financially. It might not work for somebody who is just starting out. It might not work for somebody who is in a different financial situation. It might not work for the Warren Buffetts of the world. It might not work for people at the other end of the spectrum. So you have to evaluate where you're at. It's really important to, first of all, have a think about, what do I have? Where am I at? What is going on for me right now? What skills do I have? And asking all of these different questions. The other thing that I would recommend is to fill in your financial statements. There are so many people who do not know what their income and their expenses are, what their assets and liabilities are. One way of doing that is going to play cash flow, and you will be able to start to see the principle. First, you'll play with other people's numbers. So you'll play a janitor, you'll play an airline pilot, you'll play a lawyer, you'll play all these different professions. And most clubs continue to do that. What our club does is we actually get you to also fill in the numbers for yourself so that you fill in your actual real income, your real expenses. You put in your assets and your liabilities. Whereas the airline pilot seems disconnected from you because it's not your income. It doesn't feel real. When you play with your own real numbers, that is when it makes a big difference. And we're actually playing tonight, so I'll let you know a little bit more when we finish reading today, how you can join, and we would love to have you there because it's one of the best ways of being able to practice all of the things from the book right here. There are 5 reasons for using examples. 1, to inspire people to learn more. 2, to let people know if it's easy, if the foundation is strong. 3, to show that anyone can achieve great wealth. 4, to show that there are millions of ways to achieve your goals. 5, to show that it's not rocket science. In 1989, I used to jog through a lovely neighborhood in Portland, Oregon. It was a suburb that had little gingerbread houses. They were small and cute. I almost expected to see Little Red Riding Hood skipping down the sidewalk on her way to Granny. There were for sale signs everywhere. The timber market was terrible. The stock market had just crashed and the economy was depressed. On the street, I noticed a for sale sign that was up longer than most. It looked old. Jogging past it one day, I ran into the owner who looked troubled. "What are you asking for your house?" I asked. The owner turned and smiled weakly. "Make me an offer," he said. "It's been for sale for over a year. Nobody even comes by to look at it anymore." "I'll look," I said, and I bought the house half an hour later for $20,000 less than his asking price. It was a cute little 2-bedroom home with gingerbread trim on all the windows. It was light blue with gray accents and had been built in 1930. Inside, there was a beautiful rock fireplace, as well as 2 tiny bedrooms. It was a perfect rental house. We gave the owner $5,000 down for a $45,000 house that was really worth $65,000, except that no one wanted to buy it. The owner moved out in a week, happy to be free, and my first tenant moved in, a local college professor. After the mortgage expenses and management fees were paid, we put a little less than $40 in my pocket at the end of each month. Hardly exciting. A year later, the depressed Oregon real estate market had begun to pick up. California investors, flush with money from their still booming real estate market, were moving north and buying up Oregon and Washington. We sold that little house for $95,000 to a young couple from California who thought it was a bargain. Our capital gains of approximately $40,000 were placed into a 1031 tax-deferred exchange, and I went shopping for a place to put my money. In about a month, we found a 12-unit apartment house right next to the Intel plant in Beaverton, Oregon. The owners lived in Germany, had no idea what the place was worth, and again, just wanted to get out of it. I offered $275,000 for a $450,000 building. They agreed to $300,000. I bought it and held it for 2 years. Utilizing the same 1031 exchange process, we sold the building for $495,000 and bought a 30-unit apartment building in Phoenix, Arizona. Kim and I had moved to Phoenix by then to get out of the rain and needed to sell anyway. Like the other former Oregon market, the real estate market in Phoenix was depressed. The price of the 30-unit apartment building in Phoenix was $875,000 with $225,000 down. The cash flow from the 30 units was a little over $5,000 a month. The Arizona market began moving up, and a few years later, a Colorado investor offered us $1.2 million from the property. The point of this example is how a small amount can grow into a large amount. Again, it is a matter of understanding financial statements, investment strategies, sense of the market, and the laws. And you'll notice that Robert Kiyosaki is happy to move from one place to the other. He was probably a bit younger at that time, and he was happy to move to all of these areas where things were a little bit depressed so that he could start buying up and be a part of and really be able to see what's going on in those markets. If people are not versed in these subjects, then obviously they must follow standard dogma, which is to play it safe, diversify, and only invest in secure investments. The problem with secure investments is that they are often sanitized, that is made so safe that the gains are less. Most large brokerage houses will not touch speculative transactions in order to protect themselves and their clients, and that is a wise policy. The really hot deals are not offered to people who are novices. Often the best deals that make the rich even richer are reserved for those who understand the game. It is technically illegal to offer speculative deals to somebody who is considered not sophisticated. But of course it happens. The more sophisticated I get, the more opportunities that come my way. So we will leave it at that for today so that you can go out and work on your goals. If you'd like to catch up on some of the chapters that you may have missed that I've been reading of A Rich Dad Poor Dad, you can do that at YouTube. The Passive Cash Flow Club is our YouTube channel, and make sure you subscribe. We've got some new videos coming out. I am eagerly awaiting my VA to send one of those through today, letting me know that she has published that one. Fingers crossed. And if you'd like to know more about cash flow and being able to really figure out where you're at by having a look at your income, expenses, assets, and liabilities, because you need that basis to be able to know how to move forward, what to invest in, what kind of decisions to make, then feel free to get in touch through Instagram, and I can get my VA to send you the details. You can find me at business_team_6_official on Instagram. You can see obviously what I'm up to, but also send me a message and request some information, and I'll get my virtual assistant to send you the details for tonight's cash flow. If you can't make it tonight, I'll get her to stay in touch with you so that she can let you know the next available one that you are able to come to. It is a great game that really changes your mindset and also tricks your brain into thinking that you're achieving more than you are, so that you can actually go out and implement in real life. So very excited about that. Looking forward to seeing many of you tonight and seeing you all again tomorrow at 8 a.m. Sydney time for some more of A Rich Dad Poor Dad. Have a great day today. Do some great things toward your goals, and I'll see you all very soon. And thanks for joining.